Hi, this is Dr. Bosch, and I wanted to introduce you to some of the features of Canvas for your Bio 201 class. So I have your Canvas site opened up to home, and there's some introductory kinds of things. I did send you this information via email, but you can take a look at that, what you need for the class, and a few other items on this home page. And then on the right here is a to-do list. It's got the announcements, recent announcements, and then things that are due as they're due. Let me just make the point, though, that you don't want to start these things on their due date. I lose a lot of students that way. There's just not time. So if you look at the schedule that I sent out to you, it tells you when to start these things. And sometimes the labs will take a week or even longer than that. And so this is the day they have to be turned in. So work on these, for many, many days and just make sure they're in by the due date to get full points. Same with the current event article review. If you try to do it on September 1st, you might run into problems and then you don't have it. So keep these in mind as a time to turn them in rather than a time to start. Okay. All right, the modules have most of the information for the class. So here's your syllabus, the schedule tells you what we're doing each day. And then what I did is I put all the things you need for week 1 in this week 1 resource module, and there's week 2, etc. So it has things like the narrated lectures you should be listening to, the outline you'll be filling out as you watch those, the chapter reviews. So these are like practice questions for the chapters. And then the online lab guide. That's your first lab. And again, you want to start that the first day of class, if not earlier. And that way you can be done with it by the time the due date rolls around. And these are some intro photos, so photos that'll help you on this lab. And then there's a current event online article review to do. And there's information on how to do the citation APA style here. So these are all the things you need for week 1. Moving on to the next chapter for week 2, there it is. And then week 3 and week 4. And it goes on through the semester. Now, I did organize things by week like this, but if you don't like using it that way, you'll find all the material you need right after our last weekly module. So for example, here are all the online lab guides. There's 10 of them. With some additional information for some of them. Here's your online lab guides. Here's your practical exam reviews, the photos you need, the microscope slides you need, a little bit on essay writing for your exams, and then here's all those narrated PowerPoints. So in other words, although you have all the material in your weekly module, you can always go down to the bottom and get them from another source as well, if that works better for you. Then the assignments, if you just click on it, it does it by either date or type. Now date looks really confusing to me because it's basically all the assignments for the whole semester, kind of just by date. I like to show it by type because now you have the exams and your online quizzes all here. And then you have the labs, there's Lab Guide 1, etc. Here is the current event article review. So when you're all done with your lab, for example, you'll click on this and you will see that you can upload the file. So you'll be making a PDF of the lab guide along with the questions in the lab manual. In this case, the questions at the end of lab 1 in your manual and the question in lab 2. So these tend to be big files. You're gonna make a PDF of somewhere around 9 or 10. I think there's 10 pages on this one. Some have as many as 20. And then you upload them. You'd say you find the file, add another file, and upload the file. And then a message will go to me that it's uploaded. Then I can go and correct it. So you don't actually have to tell me that you've submitted an assignment. I get a message when you upload the file. So that's for Lab Guide 1. And let's leave that a minute. So there's your labs. So in other words, you'll turn your lab in, first lab in here, second lab in there, all the way to the last one. There's 10 of them. There's current event article reviews. The first one you'll turn in here, the second one there. The outlines are required, so you'll be turning those in. That's an easy 25 points. The reviews will really help you on the exams. People who do the reviews do much better than those who don't do the reviews because you basically are getting practice questions, but you don't turn those in. You only turn in the lecture outlines. And there are 5 sets of those before the end of the semester. This you don't have to worry about for a while. That's the presentations. You'll be doing the presentation you'll be doing later in the semester. So that's the modules. And then, that's the assignments. Here you'll see your grade, see how you're doing. And here are the announcements. And I would take some time, just kind of kick back in a comfortable chair and just kind of go through these different announcements. These will all help you as you go through the class. This is information about kind of getting started with the lab manual. Here are some information from district. If you have a disability, or there's also a statement on harassment and such. And then the course codes for getting on mastering. It depends how you get that access card, which code you use. And then the key to the chapter reviews. So we have a tutor who has all the answers. And if you want to contact her, she won't give you the answer. But if you tell her which ones you're having trouble with and what you think, she'll help you with that. And she has the key, so she can tell you if you're right about things. And there's just other information might be helpful. So you do need PowerPoint for your presentation. Word's very helpful for your assignments. You cannot turn in any Google Docs. That doesn't work in this system. It has to be in either Word or PDF. So if you don't have Word, this is free for you as a SMCC student. And just other information you might want to go through is in the announcements. Okay. Then in quizzes, the quizzes are open book and you get 2 chances. I would still suggest you study a lot for that as though it's not an open book kind of quiz, and then just try to take it. And of course, you can look questions up if you want, that's fine. And you do get to take it a second time. But it's best practice to kind of study and say, okay, did I really learn this material? And then take the quiz, because that tells you if you're in good shape for it. And so there's a quiz for every chapter. And after usually 3, sometimes 4 chapters, we have an exam. So the first exam is down here on chapters 1, 4, and 5. You'll have a practical exam. Those are almost all based on pictures and items from your lab. So I just ask you some of the major questions about the lab. And then this is a practice exam. It's only worth 10 points, but it lets you see how exams are done. You do need a computer or an iPad. You can't use Chromebook, it doesn't work. And it has to have a good camera because your face has to be right in the middle as you work. So when you take these exams, be sure you use the restroom before you start, because if you get up, I get all these messages, red flag, the person has left the seat. I don't want those. I just soon not have any of those sent my way. So you take the exam with your face in the middle of the screen, and then you finish. So you do have to download Respondus, and it's the Respondus for this, for our college, for South Mountain Community College. If you're not sure what that is, I'll be sending stuff about that, but also it's in the announcements as well. And so we'll have your first practical exam and your first regular exam, and then we go on to the next unit. So chapter 6, 7, and 8, and then another exam, and then you keep going like that. So there are your quizzes and exams are under here. There's not too many discussion questions, but I do want you to introduce yourself. I will use that for attendance, and I do have to drop you if you don't introduce yourself the first week. So I have to drop you by Friday. So try to get that done by Thursday or early Friday morning before I have to drop you from the class. And then you're going to be choosing a disease to study that relates to some of the topics in 201. There'll be more on that later, but that's here too. And that way other people can see that. And so if you want to work with partners, you can work with up to 4 people. You can join as a group there. And here you can get to know some of the other students that are there. I ask you to reply to 2 other students just to see who's in the class, why they're taking it, and things like that. The people gives you a list of everyone in the class, some information and ways to contact them. The syllabus is basically just saying what's due. So it's not really my syllabus as much as it's Canvas generated based on the assignments and their due dates. Okay. And then library resources. That's kind of an easy link to the library. And I've got some information on that. You'll need that to use the library probably for your current event article review. Okay. All right, so that is Canvas. Hopefully you found that helpful. And of course, if you have any questions, do email me at paul.bosch@southmountaincc.edu. I don't have an office. I don't have a phone right now, so we'll have to work with email. I will be getting a office and phone in the English department actually, because our building is being raised and we're building a brand new science building this year. So hopefully by next summer I will be in an office and we'll have more classes in person. Right now all the biology classes for South Mountain are online. Okay, hope this was helpful. Go ahead and try all these different links, and hope that this semester goes really well for you. Bye-bye.